before I get started, I just want to, wish everyone a very, very warm evening. And this session will be like, just look at it like an interactive session where we can exchange ideas, we can share experience. And I'm really not familiar in terms of how deep understanding the forum is having. So I'm assuming that everybody is either in their education journey, or some of them are maybe experienced professionals like me, and some are just exploring this technology, maybe not their core expert areas, but they are just interested in general to understand the impact. So with that understanding, I have actually organized some of the thoughts. I thought maybe we'll start with understanding what is artificial intelligence trend is going on, from where this entire the concept of generative AI evolved. So Swati, am I, like, my screen is visible? Can I
Yeah,
go ahead?
I can. Sure, go ahead, please.
All right. Okay. So, guys, what I thought is, maybe I'll start with, just setting the context. Like, artificial intelligence is not a new terminology. All of us are very familiar with it. So I have almost like 19 plus years of industry experience, and pretty much from last 5 to 7 years, I have worked on various projects across AI/ML stack. So intelligence is something, safe to assume that all the humans are blessed with this gift. And artificial intelligence is the intelligent human species have actually figured out a way to train machines to mimic this human like intelligence, and to mimic this certain decision making which inherently is available with human brain. So mimicking that behavior and giving intelligence to machines is all about artificial intelligence. And then what is the machine learning? Machine learning is basically ability to develop artificial intelligence through models. Basically, we feed huge amount of data to various models, and then these models start learning, and based on the learnings given to model, they start actually taking certain decisions. And I'm sure, like, all of us in this era of ATMs, or using various mobile apps, all of us are very used to actually touching artificial intelligence or AI/ML in our day-to-day lives on a regular basis. Then what has happened in last 6 months, from where this entire buzz about generative AI is, suddenly it's become the talk of the town. So actually, the big change that has happened, all these large language models, or this, artificial neural network, lot of research was going on. And in many like very specific niche areas, like space travel or airline industry, many of these intelligent softwares and tools were already being used, but they were not accessible as a consumer or a common product which anybody can access anywhere. So the change that has happened in last 6 months is like OpenAI came forward, and actually they made this powerful models available for everybody, each and everyone to consume, and then build various apps and businesses on top of the OpenAI. And that's where actually now this niche technology is suddenly available to everyone. And when a one expert came forward saying that, I have this model, I want entire market or everyone to use it and see how they can transform their business. And that's where then the competition started. Like when OpenAI came forward for their consumer centric business, so other research companies like DeepMind, which is a subsidiary of Alphabet, they also had like lot of research already done in this area. Continuous research is happening, so a lot of work is available there, and then everything started coming out in the market, and is accessible for users. And very recently, to make the most use of this generative AI technology, I'm not sure, but Many of you might have heard term called as prompt engineering. So this is actually a new language, the new language to talk to this various algorithms like transformer algorithms, unidirectional algorithms like chat gpt, bidirectional algorithms which are based on the BERT model. So there is a specific way, the way we had a programming languages like java, c++, the same way prompt engineering is nothing but an ability to talk to these models in the most meaningful way. So this is the context based on which we will have the industry trend analysis. And please feel free to stop me at any point if you have, certain questions you can ask. If you want to add more to what I am actually talking, please feel free to add. I want to make it more, interactive so that we can talk to each other, we can share experiences and learn from each other. And hope I'm not actually going too deep. The pace is okay, Swati. All right.
I think you're doing fine. Please go ahead. It's very interesting.
All right. Okay. So, guys, based on like these models, like the large language models, or the entire research done by uh, these, like tech giants, because it is not as easy. It's not as easy as building a mobile app for anyone to build a large language model. It needs great amount of investment to be able to build one large language model, and the success of the model purely depends on the how recent and how much data is available to that model to learn and then to mimic a human like behavior. So it needs a substantial amount of investment to be able to actually create one large language model, and hence the technology was not available with everyone. But with actually these apis, api is a mechanism through which actually this powerful technology can be made available to any of the end users. And that's where you will see all these small applications which I'm showing are using one of these powerful models in the background. So they actually do not own these llms, but they are using these llms as an api call to build certain kind of business. Like in the content space now, many small tools are coming to automate. From image, you tell a prompt like, okay, create an image, where I have a panda in the picture, where I have certain animals. Please add hat on top of it. Please, can you give a face of one person to other. Can I look like how my face will look like in certain celebrities style. So all these instructions can be given as prompts to the models, and the model will give you the output. This is just a simple example or a use case I'm talking about from the content space. But the impact of this technology being available to everyone is very deep. And let's see what the analyst, or what we are hearing in the news, and try to understand why this technology has two sides. It is one side is, the jobs are getting automated. It's very easy to create content. It is very easy to do discovery. It is very easy these days actually to summarize, to read multiple articles and come up with a summary based on the articles. How can this technology be any dangerous? So we'll talk about it as I actually progress further. I just want to share some of the insights about how various analysts and experts are thinking about these changes which have happened in last 6 months. So, the generative AI is set to affect 300 million jobs across major economies in 2023. So let's try to understand what does that mean. So it is not saying that the technology will reduce 300 million jobs. It is saying that in some shape and form, everyone's day-to-day life will be impacted by these technologies. because the launch of this level of automation is changing the way we interact with our laptops, the way we use our mobile phones. So everything will transform, and that doesn't mean that it will, reduce or eliminate certain kind of jobs. It will definitely need the masses or everyone to upskill ourselves to understand this new technology, and the jobs which are better done by the tools will be slowly, totally offloaded to tools. See, 20 years back, nobody would have imagined that mobile phone will be able to solve our transport or the commute problems. But today that is happening. We have a bank in our hands. We have, an entire booking systems in our hand. So a lot of things have happened in last 10 to 15 years time frame. Similarly, this technology will enable and unblock many opportunities for future. So definitely it will touch day to day lives of most of the people, and most of the economies, the way they are functioning will change. Okay, and let's understand more about the impact of ChatGPT and generative AI in the freelance economy. Right. So see, freelance economy is not uh, purely, new. Maybe in Indian context it is relatively new, but in US and European countries, pretty much actually many of the jobs are done in the freelance mode. And more with the one tool doing the job of maybe 10 engineers or the 10 content creators. uh, it's natural that the ability of one business unit to do n number of tasks, the speed of doing the task will substantially increase. And that's where actually the freelancing opportunities will increase. And the trend in the future will be like, if you want to create a campaign or some, marketing event in particular duration, you might as well, instead of having the unit grounds up, you might as well engage somebody, some expert who can come in and do create the content you wish, one time content creation, and then disengage the agency. Similarly, if you want to build certain softwares, you might as well hire one or two, experts who can leverage this generative AI technologies and build those set of, software workflows or jobs for you. So the nature in which the same set of jobs will be done will definitely change, and it will create huge new market of freelancing. Let's try to understand which are the areas further down. Like, okay, we understood now the, many people will be able to work independently. Dependencies in terms of creating or doing a repetitive nature of work, or summarizing work, discovery work, or creating content will be automated. But which are the, specific segments, or which are the specific jobs which will get impacted in this field? So here I have actually tried to, list down some of the professions which will be heavily impacted by this change. So according to Harvard Business Review, companies see the biggest performance improvements when humans and machines work together. So basically there are certain set of activities, like, going through huge amount of data or going through huge amount of news feeds, and then come up with a summary view. For a one person it might be, a 1 week's job to go through, 5 journals and come up with a summary, or to, try to solve complex mathematical problem. If a one brain has to do it, it will take obviously a large amount of time. Whereas these models with the transformer algorithm, they can do massive parallel processing, and the ability to give this summary or the content or the results within the seconds is amazing. I'm not sure how many of you have used ChatGPT or Bard. I use it on a day-to-day basis, and it has simplified my life. It has automated my day-to-day, work, even writing those long emails. In terms of like, very recently when Sundar launched our latest offerings in on generative AI, he gave that example of airline refunds. So all these mails, you think about it, you just give the keywords, or you just prompt in the right way, and you will get the response back. So it's as simple as that. So the best combination is when humans and the machines work together. And the free, the five freelancing professionals which will be transformed by AI is definitely artist space. You can actually use Bard or Chat GPT to summarize the some of the great works. Like, if you can ask the prompt, give me the top best five poems uh, other artists have written. You can understand, you can learn, get inspiration from the existing work of art. And based on that, the way the new art will be created um, uh, will be amazing to see. But then there is a flip side to this technology as well, because how do you identify the true work from the fake work? How do you identify if the picture or the image you are seeing is actually somebody shot it? Because artists earn their livelihood based on their original content. So the as the technology is becoming smarter and smarter, we will have to come up with a mechanism to secure the artwork. We'll have to come up with a mechanism that the right due is given to the artist, or the rightful owner of the content which is being available in the public forums. So that's where the government regulations will come in. How do we, to what extent we have to expose this technology to the masses, so that the misuse of the technology doesn't happen. And a lot of work is happening as we speak in the background to actually regulate this technology, so that it is used in the most appropriate manner in industry. Then freelance writers, I think I spoke about this, social media creators, photographers, software developers, obviously with chat gpt coming in, bard coming in. Now these large language models are writing code in any language you tell them to write. It's just blink of an eye and you'll be able to get entire integration code written, entire actually web pages built, building an app, building an a web page. Everything has become super easy. All you have to think is bring in your creative hat and think about the business you want to build. The technology part of it will be taken care by the tools, and you can actually optimize how you want to integrate with these tools through prompt engineering. I hope, guys, this is useful so far. Any questions? And any topic that you want to understand more in this space, or you were wondering about how this is happening, where the industry will go. Any thoughts around this?
Can I ask something?
Yeah, sure, Rajendra.
See, I want to understand a little bit more, if you have time, the impact of chat GPT, AI, etc., on intellectual property rights and process of innovation. Thank
Right, right, absolutely. So I think I tried to touch on that by saying it's very, very important to regulate this technology, because if certain music is created by mixing, work of two, three artists, and now who claims the intellectual property rights over this new music? Is it the person who has mixed and created this technology, or is it the tool where the intellectual properties that can be claimed, like the in the rights of OpenAI or Microsoft? Because tomorrow, if the artist is not getting due, then legal claims can be done. The technology enabled me to mix and match and create the new piece of art. So lot of regulations are coming in the place. Basically, uh, as of now, the platform is giving the creative freedom to the content creators, and they are responsible for the all the actions which they have taken, and in terms of using these tools and technologies. If tool is responsible for any PII breach, or because of tool if some information is getting leaked, then I think the responsibility will come with the platform owners. But there are not this is a very niche technology, new technology. Even governments are figuring out what kind of regulation has to be around. So in India, as of now, there is is no law which is in place, but I know a lot of work is happening, and we'll get to actually see more information in this space in upcoming months. And Rajendra, the second question was in terms of innovation. So obviously, huge impact in terms of our ability to innovate with this kind of technology available to any creative innovator. The ability with which we can build a we can do predictive analysis. We can actually train and current models, the kind of data we can feed. So the our ability will be multifold. So the speed of innovation will definitely improve. Hopefully, I'm able to address your question, Rajan.
Yes, thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Hi, Shriti. This is Arima. A very informative session since the beginning. I have two questions. One, adding on to Rajen's question about innovation. Don't you think it can go other way around? Even because I am hearing instances where graduates they're writing their summary papers or their projects using Chat GPT. So that is where they're just it's kind of it's distracting their innovation. Me, for instance, if I try to, like you said, writing emails, or very recently I had to design my smart goals, and I just typed in key words and I created my smart goal. But I stopped thinking. I stopped challenging myself because I know there's somebody who's doing the job for me. So that
Absolutely.
dependency.
Yeah. Of course. So see, the people, there are smart people who are building businesses based on this, tools, because they can summarize the content and then create a new content, publish it, or summarize images, mix and match music. And as you are saying, in the education sector, it has a large drawback, because even small kids, they are doing their homework using Chat GPT. So their ability to perform independently during exams will definitely go down. So it's too much of a technology available in the hands of students.
Right.
And
Agree. Another question is on the data aspect. Uh, so how, because these are open sources and because we have client proprietary data, uh, how safe it is, if we have to, get some insights. We say, for instance, I have 30 client interviews. I punch it in and I want a summary. But how safe it is to do that?
oh, Aradhya, I will definitely actually give you a little bit of caution there. Do not expose confidential information on these tools, because these tools use all the data available to them to train themselves. They
Right.
are actually they are provisioned to actually learn from the people's data. So if it's confidential information, do not expose any sensitive personal or client information to the tools to do the summary, because in the background, tool is taking this data and processing in the wherever the model is running. So you really don't want to expose your sensitive information to the models, which might store this data for the future analysis. So once you have given your information to the model, then it is accessible and available. It is stored forever with the model for any kind of comparison. And the models are tuned to basically learn. So see, since the Bard was launched, because I work with Google, so I know since Bard was launched, I'm seeing the way it is changing for the consumer markets. Earlier, my history information was visible. Now at least it is optional. If you want to delete your entire history and your entire data that you have used, now it is giving the provision to delete your data. So if you just want to temporarily gain some kind of summary over client information, make sure that you are deleting that information post you have used the model. So the way the mobile security, like your location security and things evolve, I'm expecting this space will also evolve as the use cases will evolve. Initially, all LLMs were built with the medical innovation and research in mind. So a lot of work like cancer patients information was fed into the models in order to predict the possibility or the remote screening of the patients. with these kind of thought processes, these models were actually created, and they were available only to niche scientific case studies or the researchers. But now it is available to each and everyone. As you said, the example of client, I'll tell you, if everybody for some reason, just assume one country is thinking negative about certain topic, it can be anything, for example. So the model is thinking, okay, if 1 lakh people are thinking negative about certain things, and I have data of only 2 lakh people, so that means from 50% of my audience is saying this is wrong. So the model doesn't have implicit sense of right and wrong like human beings. So based on the data, the model will also start thinking negative about that particular topic. If the model 1 lakh people are saying killing is good, then model will analyze the data, and model will think, okay, killing is good. So this is a very dangerous technology because it is learning based on the data, and who is taking control of sanitizing the data? So all these applications which will be built on top of the models, the application who are building the model need to focus about the responsible AI. So a lot of work is happening in this space of being responsible. Regulations will also come in place, and as well as actually the copyrights, the platforms, OpenAI and the Alphabet, they will actually come up with this kind of guidelines of using the data. Yeah, Guru, please go ahead.
Thank you.
Sorry, just a second. Can I interrupt? Do you still have more of the presentation? Because I think we should save the questions for the end, because I want to see everything that you have to say. So,
yeah, sure. I also had one more actually industry scenario captured. Maybe so basically,
so we'll just save the rest of the questions for the end of the session. Just so we can finish your presentation. I want to know everything that you have to say.
Sure, Swati. So yeah, okay. So here actually what I was thinking is, what can be the common challenges, and which are the areas where this technology will be, very exciting, very useful. But how do we adopt to this, technology? So based on my actually own understanding and the references that I've taken, the key challenges are struggle to optimize productivity and time management. So this is one area. With that noble intention, these models were launched where we help people do their day-to-day job. We help technology engagement in our life so that we are more productive, and we spend hours, certain nature of business like financial or auditing businesses, hours are spent on reporting. So these kind of repetitive activities can be easily addressed with the help of this technology. And scheduling, time management, calendar management, these are actually some of the quick wins. And the content space, like creativity and innovation space. So this is where actually this technology fits in terms of a regular user. And then there are those niche scientific areas where very advanced work can be done. So based on my experience, I'll tell you, in 2019 itself, we were working on building chatbots. We built actually a chatbot for one of the fintech companies in 2018. Even HDFC has EVA chatbot. That has not happened in like last 6 months. That was there from 1+ year. And then we have heard about robots serving meals in restaurants. We have seen the common use of robots in Japan. So all this is what? This is artificial intelligence, which is programmed in that machine, and the machine is now able to actually perform tasks. Generative AI maybe will take it to the next level where they will learn on their own based on the data which is accessible to them. So pretty much this is what I thought, Swati, and I was planning to anyways open the forum for a discussion, and then together we can talk about.
Sure. If anybody has questions, you can go ahead and ask your questions, comments. We can have a discussion for about half an hour, a little bit less than that. So yeah, please go ahead.
Can I ask one thing, please?
Yeah,
Sure,
sure.
go ahead.
Yeah.
See, our IMB is one of the best institution in the country, perhaps in the world, on strategy. And Rishi, who is our director IMB, he is one of the best in the strategy field. So strategy has two parts. One is formulation or formation of the strategy, and the second part is execution of the strategy. So sometimes both parts are done by same team, same person in an organization or even consultants. Sometimes they are different. So my hypothesis or question is that AI will impact the formation or formulation of the strategy more than execution, because execution is done in small parts. Thousands of people get together and they execute all over the country or world. But formulation is done by one team, one person, perhaps sitting in an office. So how strategy formulation and execution and overall strategy will be impacted by AI? That is the question in my mind. It will
Sure.
certainly impact. I can predict that without too much of thinking. But what and how we can prevent its bad effect, etc. Those are the questions in my mind. So over to you, please.
Yeah, sure, sir. I'll definitely try to address it to the best of my knowledge. So we are, looking at the two aspects. Basically, a strategy head in a institutes, renowned institutes like IIMB, is thinking, how can I use this tool? So I want to, formulate my strategy. What should be my strategy for this year? So the tool is smart enough actually to give you the best strategies available in similar institutes. Maybe what Harvard is doing this year, what MIT is doing this year. So during the formulation stage, you will have access to the best available strategies or any kind of public releases done by the similar institutes. So your formulation strategy will have a data, scientific data, which is available out there. And instead of a one person going through all the reports, tool can summarize you, okay, tell me the top 5 things or the trend that Harvard has done in terms of their strategy. Where is the new focus area? In which area new lectures or new subjects or new segments are getting added? So that kind of research will be available for you to formulate your own strategy. Maybe the IIM's own historical data in terms of how the trend has been, what was the trend, plus how the trend was perceived in terms of impact of it on people's mind. So you can actually, whether it was a successful launch, how many students participated in new program versus how many people dropped out, what is the average score of students which are coming in respective courses. So all this huge analysis during the formulation stage will be, one person will be able to drive it if he knows how to do the prompt engineering. So that is the impact, huge impact. I think the 90% of the work in the strategy formulation can be automated with the help of these tools. Then coming to the execution part. So once the clear cut strategy is agreed, how the execution can be automated, the communication, the guidelines, all this can be actually auto generated. The moment this is approved strategy, the strategy will reach everyone's inbox, and it can be actually not just emailed but also drilled down into multiple subtasks. Meetings can be automatically scheduled, and the participants can be identified. So like execution can also be done to a lot extent with the help of this. Hey, hi Vandana. Any questions from your side? All right. Okay. Then I'll continue, Swati. So, sir, I think both the sides will be impacted. Formation, definitely 90% of the work can be done with the help of tool, and execution also there will be impact.
Most wonderful clarification. Thank you very much. And this is a great session at the initiative of IMB, and I'm benefiting so much. So thank you very much to everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. I'm so glad it is helpful. Yeah, Swati, I think we have like more questions. Guru is also waiting.
Yeah,
Hey, Guru.
thanks, Shriti. So I have two questions. One is, I come from a software development background, but I have zero knowledge about ChatGPT. I've heard a lot about it. I've also seen or heard a lot of sources. How do I get started? Do you have any food for thought? Like these are the ones you can start with to get acquainted with the chat GPT, and mostly on the thing what we just discussed, generative AI and other things. That's my first question. The second question is about uh, is the generative AI for all the things what we talked about. Say for example, if I have to enhance my voice modulation, okay, without having to hire a consultant for that, we see there is a lot of deficit of voice modulators, and also increasing the vocabulary, increasing the communication style or skill based off specific individuals. Like, is ChatGPT sophisticated enough to kind of help me start on that particular line? Those are my
Okay. Yeah, so maybe I can definitely solve your first problem. I can, share one of such models. Are you able to see my screen?
Yes.
Yeah, this is actually Google's answer to ChatGPT, and we fondly call it as BARD. And it's actually a very advanced large language model, which is available to the individual consumers. If you will go on the google.com and you will, write BARD, you will be able to access this tool. And then to address your second question, maybe I'll just give a quick, demo of this tool, how it works. This is where actually whatever you want to learn, like I'll just ask my question. Show me top, top.
Can we use the same platform for my second question? How do we increase the voice modulation of a person?
Yeah, we will do that query also to the tool itself. So the tool is actually becoming so intelligent. See, I asked, can you show me top 3 cities in India on map? It is showing me, top 3 cities on map. And this is just the, first question I asked. Now let's ask the voice, how can I?
One question. When you said top 3 cities, on what basis it is showing top 3 cities? By GDP, by population, by area?
Correct. Yeah. Okay. So maybe let me address this question. So the tool, the large language model, will show. See, here are the top 3 cities. Mumbai. It is showing based on actually a lot of combination of lot of factors. Maybe economic activities in that city, as you mentioned, GDP and all other aspects. And it will also give you additional information, like if we are you able to still see my screen, because I moved into the another
Yeah,
screen.
we can see your screen. Yeah.
You can see the BARD interface right now. Yes.
Okay, so it is taking me basically to the further the web page for that city. So currently it is showing based on the multiple combination, not just one factor. It is very generic response. But now that's where the prompt engineering comes into the play. If we ask a very specific question, see, what are the factors used in deciding top 3 cities above? So basically you can talk to model as if you are talking to a human being. It will process whatever the question. See, so it is telling you, it has used economic factors, demographics, infrastructure, culture, heritage, quality of life. And that too, there is a limitation, because whatever information is accessible to this model, based on that, using these factors, it has given those results.
Another question. So we know that ChatGPT has data available till 2021. It cannot process recent data. Any such thing on BARD limitation?
BARD definitely has more recent information compared to ChatGPT because of the Google search advantage we had. We were in the similar business, but none of the models can claim like I have, the most recent information.
Okay.
It is purely based on the publicly available information.
Okay,
And I think, Guru, your second question was, how can I find out whether ChatGPT will help me in terms of voice modulation? So I don't think so. ChatGPT is a conversational kind of platform similar to Bard, the one I showed you. But it will help you to find out the tools available in the market which can help with the voice modulation. Like, how can I modulate video voice? So it will kind of give you solutions, and if you can further interact with it, it might be able to give you exact steps for you to follow in order to modulate the voice. And if you can stitch together 2-3 softwares, like while you're recording with the help of phone, you can pass on that stream to a software that is able to modulate the voice and then produce the output. Then you will be able to automate, like totally automate this life cycle.
Okay. Okay. So what you're saying is there's a business opportunity on that side where we do an integration of.
Yeah, definitely. But I'm sure something will be available because this is a creator's economy, and day-to-day basis, so many content is coming out. So creators are definitely using something.
True, true, absolutely.
Guru, if
Obviously,
I
there is.
may,
Yeah,
Guru, just to answer your question, if you have MS Teams. In MS Teams, there is an app called Speaker Coach. It's integrated with it. You turn it on if you're on a call. You turn it on, and it runs all throughout your conversation. And then at the end of your call, it will give you feedback on your modulation, the tone you use. Just simply Google Speaker Coach in MS Teams. It will tell you how to activate it, and it will solve your problem. It's a great tool. Yeah, try it. Yeah.
See, we already have solution available.
thanks, absolutely. Thanks, Arina. Thanks for the input.
I have actually seen like lot of models in text, like summarizing text kind of use cases, or deriving insights from videos, like where the offensive content. See, YouTube is doing it on day-to-day basis. The moment, like if a user is a child, what kind of content is appropriate? So those kind of filtering is already happening. And I'm not sure if the audience is familiar, but all these advertisements which are happening in the media space are in a way impacting our ability to take that decision. Before we need something, we might get an ad in terms of this product is available for this much of discount on Amazon. So if you speak that word, somebody somewhere is listening to what you are talking. Based on that, you will start receiving hyper personalized ads these days. If you buy certain brand, if something new launches of that brand, you might start seeing advertisements coming in wherever you go on the web. So there are scrollers which are actually observing users behavior. Based on the user behavior, the topic of interests, a lot of marketing is happening around products. So the agencies have become super intelligent, and they are already using these tools since a while. YouTube is out there, Facebook is there, Insta is there, influencing is the talk of the town these days. So many tools are available, but Guru, there are many still unexplored opportunities in terms of launching new business. So keep looking for those opportunities. In fact, I'll say why the new business. Like very few players are there in terms of building large language models. We don't have any large language model from India as of now. So a lot of scientists can come together. It's a huge investment, but yeah, huge opportunity as well.
Thanks again. Thanks for all of us for contributing. Thanks again.
And feel free to share your experience of what all you have explored in this generative AI segment. Anything which was very fascinating for you.
So, hi, Shruti and this end. So, I'm coming from data and AI analytics background. uh, and I have seen certain use cases emerging around data science skill set getting democratized due to the usage of uh, these large language models. So I think even at execution stage, I see of strategies or work, it could be doable. Like you can, if you give the right prompt design, it
Hmm.
can do the work and get it integrated into your different tools.
Right. My experience is also same. Like earlier, we had to tell data to predict certain things. Now, actually, inherently, the tools are smart enough. They have all the information and predictions ready. We don't have to write like large queries in order to predict something. The all kind of the query or the processing logic part is taken care. We can just human like interact and build those projections for next 5 years. Typically in the finance sector, projections predictions was one area for which certain queries will be written, time duration. But now we can just communicate with the tool in a human based language. It will We don't need to engage a data scientist to write those fine tuned optimized performance optimized queries for us. It's just a command, voice command will be enough in order to derive those, analyze the years and years of financial data and come up with the summary. So definitely impact is there, and now this technology is available with everyone. I think like one CEO function, whatever reporting, there used to be a reporting unit to provide the data from across business lines, finance, supply chain, for that matter, inventory management. So somebody will manage the inventory. Now it will be so advanced, like even advanced than the digital twins. Before it is getting over, it is 80% capacity on the rack. That time itself a new order will be placed, projecting the days to deliver those inventories. So everything is becoming super smart, and a lot of actually in between layers are getting redundant, Ashish. So yeah, definitely it has execution level also, it has huge impact.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, so in my experience, if I just want to detail in, like uh, when I try to do certain data analysis itself, it can go in depth and fast track all the process to figure out what kind of an insights we are looking at, and it it could give you more direction whether those insights are going to add more value to it or not in the context that we present it to the tool.
Um, Absolutely, and I think it will the way we ask the model, like based on what you have come to the top three cities. So whatever will be the prediction, purely we will have to identify the source. If the as I was mentioning, if the source data stream itself is missing, and if we access to the wrong information is there, then the predictions will also be wrong. So purely depending on the predictions coming from the large language model, which is learning on its own, is still, we are still not actually 100% there in terms of their ability to predict, self trained models, their ability to predict the data. So human intervention is still needed, but the gap will reduce slowly as the technologies will evolve. If it is like 60-50 today with these tools and technologies available, I'll see it will become like the gap will reduce, and the more of the heavy lifting will be done by this generative AI tool stack.
All right. So I have one question, like with respect to BARD, uh,
Yeah.
does it give a clear indication around what sources it used to while giving a response? Uh, how it has been trained. Do we have this as a open information available, that
uh,
how BARD has been trained and how does it predict or make
okay.
make
Mhm.
responses?
Correct. So BARD, as I said, is a consumer-facing API. So in the background, the API is accessible to all the consumers, but entire data or the based on which this particular model is running, not everything is actually available out there. The max to max, we can interact with the BARD, try to find out the sources or the factors it has considered. But this is purely experimental basis. This cannot become the base for prescribing certain kind of medications or being held responsible for giving the right knowledge. Like doctors, it doesn't replace doctors, it doesn't prescribe you, it can just tell you based on the data accessible to the model. And Google had advantage in terms of for making the search smarter. We were anyways using the web data which is available over the internet, and that's where it was faster, like easier for Google to launch these APIs in such a short duration of time. The infrastructure was already there. Please go ahead.
Yeah, if there is no other question pending, then I can go ahead.
Before that, I would just like to add, we have about 5 minutes left in the session. So I'm not sure, Shruti, if they have more questions, but can they email you or so? I'm sorry.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. From 7 to 8, yeah. So yeah, I think we can take the next question as the last one.
Okay, so see, about 15, 20 years ago, two major trends started. One was analytics, etc., and then came digital. So we clearly had the divide. Some people knew analytics well or not. Then digital came, and now same thing is being done by AI. So there are some people who are proficient in AI, others are not. So this is a clear divide which has emerged, and it cuts our organization, profession, society in two parts. So having said that, we are in knowledge economy. In the sense, we are knowledge workers, so we create something. For example, I write a book or dialogue or video book, etc. I take credit for that, but actually it is done by AI. So it would be perhaps wrong to claim credit for that and monetize, etc., because I haven't done that really myself. And then there are consequences. I do some kind of defamation in this process, so somebody feels hurt. So where does that person go? Who that person catches? So if you have some knowledge how this direction is going to be, I'm sure in 2, 3 years time we'll certainly find the solution. But what is your thought process? How are we going in this particular area of AI and its use in copyright and writing books, articles, etc., etc.? Thank you.
Yeah, sure, sir. Definitely, this is a huge concern area because the tools are giving access to a great technology, and it is accessible to all kind of folks. In fact, in terms of banking, if we talk about cryptocurrencies, so there is a big scare of the black market transactions happening with the help of cryptocurrencies. So that's where suddenly government has to intervene and actually come up with a very strict regulation. So when we talk about the generative AI technology copyrights issue, very strict rules and regulation needs to be in place where it says that creators have their creative freedom of coming up with the the content of their choice, but then I think they need to own the creative rights of that content, and the platform is responsible to enable or provide you access to be able to maybe modulate your voices. But if like somebody is mimicking Mr. Amitabh Bachchan's voice, then I think very recently we saw in the news the same kind of legal objections will be raised if everyone's information is available to every other person, and if there is monetization of that information or somebody is making money using these tools and technologies other than the platform, then how do we deal about it? How do we share the credits or the rightful dues for an artist if an image is available on the internet and number of tools are using that image? So regulation is the only way forward. And the platform side, like being from Google has taken significant amount of efforts to make a responsible AI. We have closed many projects because we thought this technology is not fit for the wider use, or it is not for the good of the society. So from the platform side, a lot of efforts are being taken. I'm sure other platforms are also taking in those efforts. At least Google, I'm seeing, is shutting down on a lot of areas where the authority, or this copyrights kind of things are not clear. So all the terms of use, you will see maximum things are covered from the platform side, and the creative freedom or the will be with the owner who is actually accessing these tools and technologies. Hope I'm trying to add some value.
Yes, thank you, ma'am.